So this may be repetitive throughout the rest of the video, but I want to say that this video is not no fancy video, and like for a while, I don't know how long, I'm practically gonna make my channel a diary. Like realistically, just gonna preach and teach what I feel the Lord is putting on my heart and share whatever my walk looks like. I'm not editing, bro. So like I might put a little here and there kind of be, but my main goal is just to get my message and the word out there that the Lord is putting on my heart, or to do something that's going to help somebody who's similar to me try out something, right? For example, like, and I'll express where I'm tired of stumbling and fumbling this walk. If you like, God hasn't trusted me with a lot, but I fail because I am allowing myself to be deceived by the enemy, right? To think that at moments in my weakness that it is okay to please myself, and that's never ever the case. And so I'm tired of that, and I'm trying to take charge of my walk and truthfully, right, take initiative to do something and to occupy myself with the word of the Lord and to occupy myself with the Spirit. And so without further ado, let's get into the video. If you're anything like me, I know you're tired of saying that you love God, but failing to show it. Because it's not about how anybody perceives you, but truthfully, like, how are you walking it out? Because only God knows your true walk, and only you know your true walk. The sins that we keep to ourselves or repent to others but continue to battle because a piece of us doesn't want to let go, and so we run back to that old comfort. For some reason we don't trust God. For some reason we don't have faith that the Lord can give us that comfort and more. That's where I'm at. I don't know why. And I don't know how to break it. I don't know how to, like, just let go of that deception that I have, of that lack of comfort that I could get from the Lord, which makes absolutely no sense, because the closer that I get to the Lord, the more that I understand that He is comfort. Everything He stands for is peace. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. But why can't I run to Him? Alright, so here's what I'm doing. In order to help myself get closer to the Lord, alright, I'm trying to take accountability. I'm trying to take accountability to myself and read the Bible in my downtime. I looked up earlier, it takes about anywhere between 60 to 80 hours for the average reader to finish the Bible, like given hours. And the longer scale of that is 10-15 minutes a day across the whole year. You can finish the Bible. And for me though, I want to see how fast, not necessarily like a speed run, but like take that time, and within a month I want to be able to accomplish and say that I read the whole Bible. Something that the Lord has already done in me and worked on me is removed me from social media. He called me off of it so that I may spend that time with Him, and I failed, and I've been failing to truly dedicate that time with the Lord. And so that's what I'm going to do now. In my downtime, I will be reading. Alright, so it's technically day 3. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't record it yesterday, but I did read. See, I have 2 video clips from YouTube videos that I've been watching, obviously, right, that kind of speak to where my mindset about this whole thing is, right, and why I kind of want to challenge myself to read the Bible within a month. Probably not gonna happen, but you know, I'm at least close to that time frame, like where I'm at mentally on this journey about walking with my Lord.
That there's never been a time in history where we are this connected where we have this much access, where we have this much ability to tell the stories that we want to tell and ultimately contextualize the good news of who Jesus is here and now. There's never been a time like this in history. There's also never been a time where people have been this distracted.
You know, are we going to see a fall of the American church? We're going to see a decline in Christianity. Or are you going to join this mission and call for revival? I hope that you choose the second option. I hope that you're in your word. I hope you're reading this Bible. Get in this word. Read it for yourself. Fall in love with Jesus. Realize how much he loves you. You're not supposed to be stuck in guilt, shame, condemnation. You're not an addict. All right, you might have had addictive tendencies. You might have fell into addiction, but you are not those things. This Bible says that you're redeemed, you're set free, you're a child of God, you're a new creation. You are a child of God. Take that on. Take on that identity.
One of the things that I've never done is actually read the full Bible. I've always kind of like took my time to genuinely do like a deep dive, and which I'm kind of like simultaneously doing, even though like I'm trying not to do that. But it's that nature that has kind of slowed down how far I could go into the word, if that makes sense. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. But I think it's really beneficial to me in my walk and where I am and where God is calling me to be, right? To delve into the word entirety, right? To get the full picture of who the Lord is and what he has accomplished and done. And so I'm kind of starting with the New Testament first, and reading like straight through Matthew and to the end. I've read a few books in the New Testament already. But I'm going to reread them. So the first book that I ever read fully, right, was the book of Matthew about a little over a year ago. And I'm rereading that right now. I have a Word document here that I'm using to type up what I'm gaining. It's just more so for me to help myself kind of captivate that and have that available for use. I ain't gonna lie, maybe I'm thinking about just publishing it like on like some kind of like Google something and making it public so people could just read my thoughts. It's nothing structured by any means. It's genuinely just me writing out my thoughts, and there definitely could be things that are wrong that the Lord might reveal to me later on that I'm learning, you know what I'm saying? And so that's where I'm in. I'm truthfully like trying to adapt and alleviate myself of these concepts of feeling, you know, so like it isn't my own doing. And I recognize, and I pray that you guys also recognize, the time is now. Like I've spoken to a lot of young believers similar to myself, and the common pattern and theme that I'm hearing is that there is a shift, right? And people are recognizing and starting to realize like, we need God. God is real. God exists, and we need him. Like, society is going through changes. God is present, and he is moving. And for those who do believe and are active in their walking in the faith, like, every time you stumble, it's like another warning, like alarming your head. That's like, dude, you don't have time to be messing up and tripping up like that. Like, you gotta lock in, twin. Like, lock in. And that's what's going on with me in my life. And every time I fall, I'm like, dude, I don't have time, bro. Because it's like, what if the Lord returns the one day and that 1 minute you decide to give into your flesh? How do you respond to that? Because again, you're going to respond to every single thing that you do. How are you going to respond to that? Think about that. Let that be a motivation. So I've been reading through the book of Matthew. I got so far I'm at Matthew 8 in the past 3 days. And I kind of been like for the past 2 hours, I ain't gonna lie to you, been going right back into it. But I was kind of stuck on Matthew 8 verse 28 through 34, the ending, right? When the people from the city where Jesus met the two possessed men, right? once he casted the demons out of the two men into the pigs and they died, the herdsmen, or whatever you call them, they ran to the city and were like, yo, guess what this Jesus dude just did? He done destroyed all of our livestock, all of our pigs, right? It's an economic situation, yada yada yada. Those people come from that village and say, leave. They tell Jesus to leave. And I was like, wait a minute, so why did they tell him to leave? And I didn't understand it. And so I was doing a little research on that. And basically, those people of that community were so caught up in their physical things, right? Their physical things, because their pigs was an economic situation. So they were Gentiles. Jesus was a Jew. And so at that time, pigs were seen as unclean by the law. And so he casted the demons into the pigs. But it was also to point out to the fact that we get so caught up in our own things that we miss sometimes the miracles that Jesus is doing in our life. Like, he could take away something that you buy for yourself and your value, that you value so much. But because God took it away, you are upset. And you miss the blessing and the protection that's actually coming from God using that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, dang, all right. Like, this Jesus guy pretty dope, I ain't gonna lie. He seemed like he know what he talking about. Yo. All right, so it is day 4, and obviously it's Sunday today, so I went to church, of course. And your boy still human. Your boy still has a flesh. And within the midst of continuing to struggle and fight, something that I recognize is that I not been fully honest with myself, right? Because I know in the past there was a piece of me that understood that there is a chance of potential struggle in faith in the Lord. Not that he couldn't save me, you feel me? But that he's willing to or wanting to do it for me. And I tried to find comfort in the sense of, like, I believe he could do it, right? And because he hasn't done it yet, it's for a greater purpose, a greater intention, right? Like, I'm going through this, for some other reason, for somebody else, but that's torture. And the Lord that I worship isn't a God of torture. And I have to come to my own concise, right, and understanding that I struggle with what I struggle with because I don't believe, right, that he's going to do it for me. And I was reading in the book of Matthew, and time after time, like, when Jesus was healing people and was going on this spree, those he saved and those who were healed, he often said time and time, go, your faith has healed you. Go, because your faith has healed you. And then I looked aside into myself, and I looked at my own heart and was like, where's that extension for me? And then obviously with that thought, right, it is me putting the blame on the Lord that I'm struggling with what I'm struggling with because God won't save me. But it's not he won't save me. It's that I don't believe that he will save me. And that's hurting me, right? Because it's a psychological deal, right? Where it's like, now I'm not strong enough to combat the sin, even though he's equipped me with it, because I don't feel like I could be healed of the sin, if that makes sense, right? It's almost like that concept, right before you stumble, once more, you tell yourself, last time kind of mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like, after this, I won't do it again. I'm really gonna, you feel sorry for yourself. And that's where I guess I am mentally and psychologically, and God is revealing a lot to me, right? Because I felt like he wouldn't save me. I felt like he wouldn't choose to save me for some odd reason. And that's false. And that's wrong. Because the Lord that we worship, the Lord that I serve, has saved me. When he died on that cross, that was his way of telling me that I'm saved. His way of telling you that you're saved. To continue to allow myself to get closer to the Lord and let God use me,
Um, Something that I'm working on doing is eliminating boredom. Earlier this year, a couple months ago, the Lord revealed to me that the feeling of boredom is not of His. And we as a society know what that feeling feels like. We know what that word means. We know what it is, but it's not of the Lord. And one thing that I'm learning, doesn't matter what you do, how well you know how to do it, if it is not within the Lord, it is sin, right? And or it is the birthplace of sin. Feelings outside of the Lord is the birthplace of sin. And so I have found myself to be bored at times, and I'm trying to cultivate that environment and eliminating boredom and adding in occupancy, right? Occupancy within the Lord. So taking time and trying to be intentional, right, with how I spend it. How do I give it back to the Lord in my downtime, right? And that's why I started to read. And something else I'm going to try, especially on this walk, is I'm going to listen to the Bible. The remainder of my walk, I want to start listening to the Bible. And this time I'm going to start from Genesis. So I'm kind of getting two-parter plate, right? I read in the New Testament and I listen to the Old Testament. And then the goal is to get through it all, right? So technically 2 times within like a month or 2, right? And I'm trying to eliminate laziness out of my own heart, laziness out of my life, right? Because laziness is that quietness and that stillness without the Lord, which leads to boredom, which leads to sin. Because when you are bored, you're not with the Lord. And what do you start doing when you're bored? You start doing things or you start thinking things. And if you start doing things without the Lord, I'm willing to bet you're probably going to end up sinning. And if you start thinking without the inclusion of the Lord, you start thinking about sin. And you will end up engaging in the sin. And so these are the things that the Lord has revealed to me. And I'm trying to work on eliminating in my life. Boredom, laziness, right? Because these are the birthplace of sin. All right, so I couldn't listen to the Bible as much. I was getting really bad cellular service out here. But check out this view, bro. This is why I love coming out to the nature and like being outside. It reminds me of how small I am and how great my God is, because He created all of these trees. He created this. He also created the bugs that bit me. What the heck? What's up, gang? What's up? Today's day 5, and at chapter 14 in the book of Matthew. Today I've listened to the book of Genesis. I think I'm in chapter 28 by listening to it. And then I just started reading the book of Job as well, and I got to chapter 10. So, a successful day pretty much. But yesterday, after spending the time in the park, right, and spending the time with the Lord, I was actually intending to sit down with the Lord and genuinely take the time to read and pray. But as soon as I sat down on the benches, bro, it got scorching hot. The sun came out, and I was like, So I took a detour, got some food, and then I went to the gym. And I hit 225 for 3 reps as a top set after doing my working set, which I did 185 for 4 sets of 6, which is pretty good. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a minute, but we coming back slowly. And here's a video of me doing that. that, I didn't actually do anything else. I came home and I just started cleaning, but I did listen to a little bit of Genesis. And then here we are today. But I'm gonna stop this video here because I have 2 more days to make it a full week. But the last day, I do want to do a full, like, elaborative discussion on what I've entirely learned in this past 7 days about transitioning and making a direct focus to eliminate, small things in my life and allow Jesus to infiltrate my heart, right? To make Jesus my everything and to make Jesus a priority in my downtime. When I've been successful, I've been blessed, and it's those small moments where I found myself at one point not giving it to the Lord, or not being cautious or aware, intentional about what I'm consuming, and that led me to stumble. But I'll get into more of all of this and just kind of like talk and be real with you guys about what I've learned. But this has been a cool experience, first 5 days. And so far in 5 days, I've listened to 28 chapters in Genesis. I've read 13 chapters in the book of Matthew, and I'm now on 14, and 10 chapters in Job. Good job, me. Good job, me. But again, all glory to the Lord. Thank you.